What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the RTG Career Mode. This is episode number 27. We start today's of stuff by officially ending Season 2 with Malaga, where after winning on the final day against Atletico Madrid, we have guaranteed a European place heading into our third season at the Estadio La Rosaleda, and our second in the top tier as well. So after a really successful debut season in La Liga, where really it was all about the change formation, that did it for us, starting the season off getting torn apart, playing 3 at the back, switched to 5 at the back, and everything started to work out from them. And we end the season and begin a new one, but just before we get into the Season 3 beginning, I want to show what happened in Euro 2024. Really interesting Euro 2024. Big nations getting knocked out in the group stage there, including England and Germany as well. But in the end, it was won by the Netherlands. They beat Italy on penalties in Euro 2024 to win the European Championship. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever seen the Netherlands win the Euros or the World Cup in my saves. Very interesting indeed. But anyway, the Netherlands won it, and they beat Italy on pens. So, heading into the brand new season, Season 3 with Malaga, as you can see, first thing you always do when you begin a new season is check your transfer budget. Just over £50 million, which to me is pretty realistic, I would say. You know, it's our third year in La Liga. We are a team with some decent commercial pull. We're a team with a decent reputation. And, of course, we've got a big stadium in the Estadio La Rosaleda, and we're going to Europe as well, where, as you'll see, too, I don't think it can happen for me. I really don't. We've gone into the Europa League. So once again, it's the third time in these past 2 FIFAs where I've guaranteed a Europa Conference League spot and I've been put in the Europa League. I don't think I can play it. I don't think I can play the Europa Conference League. It's been my third time doing it, and each single time I've been put in the Europa League. So, I mean, I'm not going to say no to it, don't get me wrong, but once again, there was me thinking, oh, here we go, first time in the Conference League, pretty excited to play it. No, I'm in the Europa League. I still haven't had the chance to play in the Conference League. I'm not going to turn down the chance to play in a higher competition, but even so, I think there's just something in the game. It's 3 times I've done this now, finishing the Conference League spot, and yet it's Europa League where I've ended up. Anyway, as I run you through the squad for Season 3, as you can see, the team is, I mean, let's be honest here, pretty average. Last year, we performed slightly above expectations. I'd say we're a mid-table team right now. We're a mid-table to top 10 sort of team based on form, and also the fact we do have quite a lot of youngsters in this team as well. It's a very young Malaga team, but it is going to need some improving heading into this season now that we are playing in Europe as well. You would have seen our objectives. In Europe, it's just reached the group stage, so already that's been hit there. But as for the league objective, it's finished mid-table. So really, this is a 4-star team. This is a mid-table team, really, all things considered. So yeah, at the moment, it needs to get better if we are to stay as a European side, which is where we want to be. So as you'll see, there were several players who deals are coming at the end of the year. I gave Nacho Fernandez a new 1-year extension, so he's now got 2 years left on his deal. He is declining now in his early to mid-30s, but Fernandez was phenomenal for me last season. He really came in and plugged the gaps in our back line and was one of the reasons why we had a great defensive record last season. I also gave new contracts out to Roberto as well, who came back from his loan spell. Caro got a new deal too, and of course, Tony Flores, our most exciting young prospect, who also now has potential to be special. Now, this is interesting. Tony Flores signs a new 5-year extension, no release clause, and his agent only asked for £1.5 a week at a 74 rated, 19 years old, one of the best youngsters in world football. So I've said this before and I'll say it again. Obviously, this career mode is not a realistic one. It's just quite streamlined, but come on, EA, let's sort this out, shall we? What on earth is that about? Just ridiculous. Anyway, keep your eyes on that there. Very interesting indeed. And we might come back to take a look at that contract again in the near future. Anyway, with just over £50 million in our transfer budget, the question was, where would we strengthen for this year? Well, I talked about it in the season finale. Where do we need to strengthen? Well, obviously defense is really important to us last year, and I would like to sign a replacement for Juan Day in our back 5. I do feel as though we'll need to replace the captain at CM as well. But also, despite the fact that Nunez won the Golden Glove last year, well, we've seen it. Despite the fact he's only in his early 20s, and last year got 15 clean sheets, he's done growing. Yet, because of the ridiculous growth system in FIFA CM, the star goalkeeper in La Liga last year, 22 years old, 15 clean sheets. Let me say that again, 15 clean sheets for a newly promoted goalkeeper at 22 years old, and he's done growing. I thought, well, in that case, we're going to need someone in between the sticks just a little bit better. And when I found this guy, I think you'll know who he is, out of contract coming the end of the season. I thought, well, why don't you come back to Spain? Yep, originally from the north of Spain, made a name for himself first at Athletic Bilbao, and then of course moved on for, at the time, a world record fee for a goalkeeper. Kepa at Chelsea, out of contract coming the end of the season, and I said, swap the bridge for the Estadio La Rosaleda, come back to Spain, this time the south of Spain, not the north of Spain, and Kepa says see. So for £21 million, Kepa is my new number one, and I'm buzzing about this as well, because obviously last year Nunez was really, really good for me, and again, 15 clean sheets speaks for itself, but having a goalkeeper that is as good with his feet and has the GK long throw trait as well, which I love on goalkeepers, is so important when you're trying to play a counter-attacking style, but also want to retain possession as well. He's got 92 kicking and the GK long throw trait as well, so as a sweeper keeper, Kepa is literally perfect. And at 29 years old as well, we know that goalkeepers tend to peak in their late 20s to their early 30s. Kepa is coming at the right time, and at £21 million for the transfer fee. 9 ratings higher than Nunez, who again, he might grow a rating or two, Nunez, but he's never really going to get that good for us in this team. What a replacement we've got in Kepa, so absolutely buzzing about that signing again for £21 million, less than half our transfer budget. That is a sublime piece of business there as we snap him up from Chelsea. But this is what I was mentioning a moment ago there with Tony Flores. He says he deserves to be on more money. And I said, I agree, Tony. But don't talk to me about it. Talk to your agent about it. Your agent was the one who said you only wanted £1,500 a week. Your agent was the one that agreed to contract alongside you. We were there over dinner. You were eating roast beef. We did this contract together and you gave your approval. Don't talk to me. Don't come back to me about it. Talk to your agent. So Tony Flores wants more money. I agree he should be on more, but I can't give you more. We just negotiated a contract, and in FIFA CM you can only negotiate a new contract once per season. So what do you want me to do about it? So following that, 2 sales. Fabas leaves. Lago Jr. leaves. 2 sales there, and then I decided to make my following signing. Well, like I said, last year in the back line, of course, we were absolutely phenomenal defensively after changing from a 3 at the back to 5 at the back system, but I was looking for a replacement for Sofiane El Karouani on that left hand side, if not as a starter, then at least as a backup now that Lago Jr. is gone. And last year I often played Lago Jr. as my left wing back, just slightly further forward, but Lago Jr. is now gone. I wanted a backup for El Karouani, if not a new starter, and I found this guy doing some manual scouting in the free agents pool. And I always say this, guys, every single summer, the first thing you do, get your own house in order and extend the contracts of the players you want to keep. But the second thing you want to do is put players on the transfer list you want to sell them. But the third thing you want to do is check the free agents pool. Free agents, oftentimes, they're quite random. Sometimes they can go quickly, sometimes they can stay in the free agents pool for a while. But if you find a really good young talent, snap him up as soon as you can. Gregorio Acosta is in. He's a left wing back, but a right-footed player, but at 19 years old, 76 rated, that shows great potential as well. What a pickup on a free transfer. Whether I'll start him or have him off the bench for El Karouani, I'm not too sure, because I really like the Dutch-born Moroccan, but either way, great player to bring in on a free transfer there. And again, it's why I always say every single season, I don't care how big your club is, how good your team is, check the free agents pool. You might just find a young gem, or you might find a star player. Really, there's so many good free agents available nowadays in FIFA Career Mode at the start of every single new year. So following that, we had a bid for Gennaro, and also Savi Bravo was wanted by Pisa in Italy, so we agreed a loan deal there with the Italian side, and Gennaro does go to Belgium. He's off to KAA Ghent for 1.3 mil. So the 3 players we had on the transfer list have now left. Bravo has gone out on loan to Pisa for another year as well. So at the moment, 64 rated, 17 years old. I love the 5-star, but again, in this team, just isn't going to get game time ahead of Flores and Villalba as well. But also, as with Ramon Enriquez, Bajik Shahir of Turkey wanted to pick him up, so I decided to accept the bid straight away. And then following that, Tony Flores, once again, we were going to talk about my contract situation, weren't we? I've heard nothing from you. I'm not happy about that. Tony, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. Are you kidding me? Your agent and you agreed the contract. I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. I can't give you a new contract. It's physically impossible for me. If it were up to me, I'd give you a new deal. But I can't. My hands are tied. So as Ramon goes to FC Basel here for £1.65 million, we sell him to Switzerland. Our budget now is just over £29 million after 2 new signings in our backline, Kepa and Acosta coming in, our new man between the sticks, and our new left back as well. We still have a little bit more money with a month to go for the transfer window slam shut. The question is, where do we look to invest next? Centre half or centre midfield? To me, those are definitely the 2 areas of concern for the captain and also Juan Day as well. But that will end today's episode of the RTG Career Mode, guys. Big fan of watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Most love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode of the RTG Career Mode, featuring another big new signing on transfer deadline day as well, and Europa League group stage draw too. Don't miss it. It's a great episode, and I'll see you for it very soon.